Welcome to KEE Trends Spot, your daily dose of what's hot, what's viral, and what's next. From K-pop to culture, we spot the trends so you don't miss a beat. It had only been 1 minute, just 60 seconds since the first whisper of it appeared on a designer's private story. But that was all it took. A ripple turned into a wave, and the wave became a storm. The center of it all? Kim Taehyung. No grand announcement, no campaign launch, no promotional teaser. Just a single image, an effortlessly candid photo of him against a white wall wearing an unreleased designer piece. He wasn't posing for attention, he wasn't chasing validation. And yet, the fashion world was holding its collective breath. What made it surreal wasn't the aesthetic perfection of the photo. It was the reaction. Within moments, brand executives, fashion journalists, and stylists from Paris to Milan began reposting it like it was a cultural event. A creative director at a major Parisian house wrote, "This is not just style, this is narrative." Another one, from a Milan atelier known for strict exclusivity, said, "We designed it with boldness in mind, but he made it feel alive." It was rare, almost unheard of, for industry professionals to be this vocal, especially without any formal collaboration in place. Taehyung didn't just wear the look, he embodied it. Jungkook was in the middle of a rehearsal break when he caught wind of the growing buzz. He had just finished a run-through, chest rising with leftover adrenaline, when his notifications exploded. It wasn't fan updates or trending hashtags this time. It was screenshots, headlines, and reposted brand stories. One by one, he saw Taehyung's image followed by quotes that left him stunned. His tired expression softened, brows raised in quiet awe as he scrolled. He wasn't just impressed. He was proud in a way that made his heartbeat slow down. Jungkook had always known Taehyung was different, not in the way people usually say different to sound poetic or polite. Taehyung carried something in his aura, an unexplainable elegance that wasn't manufactured or rehearsed. It was just there, naturally radiating from him. Whether he was on stage, sitting in a corner sketching, or walking through a crowd unnoticed, there was a quiet gravity to him. Now, watching the fashion industry collectively fall under that same spell felt oddly personal. He could still remember the moment clearly. A few nights ago, Taehyung had been trying on new pieces in their shared space, looking at himself in the mirror with a half smile, unsure. "Is this too much?" he had asked softly, adjusting the sculptural collar. Jungkook had barely needed a second to respond. "No," he had said, eyes trailing along the silhouette. "I think it's exactly you." It wasn't just a compliment. It was an acknowledgement of the way Taehyung reshaped the definition of cool with each breath. Now, with the world echoing that sentiment, Jungkook felt an unfamiliar warmth in his chest. Not jealousy, not surprise, but an overwhelming confirmation. Like the universe had decided to show everyone the version of Taehyung he had always seen. Not the idol, not the celebrity, but the man who could command attention without saying a word. The man whose silence spoke louder than trends. The comments online were just as breathtaking as the fashion quotes. Fans weren't just reacting. They were worshipping the vision that Taehyung had become. "He looks like he walked out of a Renaissance painting," one wrote. Another added, "Taehyung isn't just part of the fashion world. He's shaping its future." And perhaps they were right. Taehyung wasn't playing by the rules. He was writing new ones with every outfit, every movement, every unintentional flex of beauty. Taehyung himself, of course, had said nothing. No tweet, no post, no story. He hadn't even acknowledged the attention, and that in itself added to the mystique. In a world addicted to validation and instant reactions, Taehyung's silence was loud. It was a message in its own right. He didn't need to speak to be heard. He never did. And Jungkook knew that better than anyone. His fingers hovered over his screen as yet another repost came in, this time from a luxury shoe designer captioned with, "I don't know him personally, but the aura, unforgettable." Jungkook shook his head, the smile tugging at his lips growing wider. It was almost funny. Taehyung didn't even try. He wasn't out there hunting campaigns or positioning himself for deals. He just wore something he liked, and the world reacted like he was the main character in a film they didn't realize they were watching. By now, even Korean media had caught on. Local outlets were publishing quick headlines with phrases like Kim Taehyung, praised by European fashion giants, and from idol to icon, Taehyung's evolution stuns luxury houses. For any other artist, this might have been overwhelming or career-defining. For Taehyung, it felt like the most natural thing in the world. Jungkook imagined him somewhere quiet, maybe at home with Yeontan, sipping something warm, blissfully unaware of the frenzy happening in his name. The sudden popularity among designers didn't feel transactional or opportunistic. It felt real. Because for years, people in the industry had watched Taehyung from afar. They had seen him take risks, shift styles, and make bold choices. And now, those quiet years were blooming into respect. These weren't brands looking for a trend. They were people who had finally understood the art in him. His phone buzzed again. A message. Taehyung. Just one line, simple as ever. "This is crazy, right?" Jungkook stared at it for a moment, then typed back with a grin. "No, it's perfect." And it was. It was perfect because it wasn't about attention. It was about authenticity. And that's what Jungkook loved most about him. Because at the end of the day, Jungkook had seen all versions of Taehyung. The loud and playful side, the introspective artist, the insecure man behind the glam, and the fearless soul who wasn't afraid to wear something no one else dared to. And this moment of global acknowledgement felt like a love letter to all those versions at once. Somewhere in New York, a marketing executive was likely calling a team into an emergency meeting. "Get Kim Taehyung's team on the phone," they'd say. "We need to offer him something now, before someone else does." And somewhere in Seoul, Taehyung probably didn't even hear his phone buzz. He wasn't chasing anyone. They were all running toward him. Jungkook leaned back in his chair, letting out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. There was something magical about watching someone you love be seen the way they deserve. Not because of scandal, not because of hype, but because of truth. He scrolled one last time, pausing on a repost that simply read, "The world is finally looking at Taehyung the way he deserves to be seen." It felt like the summary of everything. The praise, the elegance, the quiet explosion of recognition. Taehyung didn't just redefine fashion, he redefined presence. And Jungkook, sitting there in rehearsal clothes, covered in sweat and dust, had never felt more proud of the man behind the storm. In just 1 minute, the world had shifted. But for Jungkook, the truth had always been there. Kim Taehyung wasn't stepping into the fashion world. He had always been its silent, beating heart.